Get in, loser. We're gonna go crash out. Fat acceptance is like the hubris I never had. I'd never seen people so delusional. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Katie, and for those of you who don't know me, I used to weigh 360 pounds, and I've lost 180 pounds and kept it up for years now. And on this channel, we will discuss weight loss, weight maintenance, nonsense I see online about body positivity and fat acceptance, my experiences with all of that, and well, anything else I feel like talking about. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and let's get into today's video. So I did take the last couple of weeks off. If you didn't see the community posts I put up, I did have to have some emergency dental work done, which is always really fun. So let's go ahead and check in with fat acceptance while I was gone the last couple of weeks. I mean, surely there couldn't have been anything interesting that happened, right?
Phew. Boy,
Oh, God!
Oh, we have multiple crash outs? So why don't we go ahead and check in with our friends Tess Holiday, Samyra, and Jaebae, and I'll give you my reactions along the way.
Let's be so for real for a second.
Okay, our friend is responding to a comment that reads, "Can we normalize wearing clothes in TikTok videos?" So now I'm curious. Let's go ahead and check out the video that was commented on.
Welcome to my soft girl era.
Yes, washing away my worries, my bad decisions, my stress, and apparently drowning in the process.
It's okay though, because Pacifica's Hydro Dew Slime is basically hydration in a jar. And thank God it's packed with hyaluronic acid and not actual snail slime, because I'm not about that life.
Final step, locking in the hydration and getting that glow.
Mom, can I have a snack?
And apparently locking in my last ounce of patience. I love affordable skincare that makes me glow even with zero me time.
Okay, so that was the TikTok that comment was left on. And yeah, I have to agree. That was a decision to film that entire video, edit it, post it in nothing but her bra. She couldn't have gotten her point across in a tank top or a t-shirt or literally anything else, because it seems like she was doing a promotion for skincare, not for a lingerie brand, right? So that was a definite decision, as is her camera angle and the fact that she could literally just show her face if she is trying to show off the skincare. But no, it's clear that she has framed this shot to clearly frame other things. And so, yeah, I'm going to agree with that commenter that, yeah, I wish she had been wearing actual clothes in this TikTok, truthfully. So it does appear that our friend has made a series of decisions by putting this TikTok up. So let's go ahead and see how she responds to that comment she just got.
Let's be so for real for a second. This app is full of people wearing way less than what I had on.
Okay, so she's deflecting. She's not going to address the fact that she did choose to put herself up that way. She's just going to deflect and say, well, don't look at me. Look at everybody else who's doing way worse.
This video has now reached over 1 million views, and I would say 90% of the comments are commenting on my weight. But
okay, and that sounds very familiar to what our friend pulled last summer when she tried to claim she was a size 24, and we used our eyeballs and our observation skills and realized that couldn't possibly be the case, at least not with what we already know about our friend. And she got called out on that and said the same thing. Well, thanks for all the views. So
I just woke up and I am so excited that everybody is so obsessed about me lying about my size, because this video that everyone's commenting on is already almost at 1 million views.
It's clear she's seeking attention, so I'm not really sure why she's upset that she got attention. Oh, that's right, she was just seeking positive attention, and she happened to get other attention this time.
Right, Miss Desmond.
Gotcha.
But also thank you so much for the views, because it's actually a sponsored post with one of my favorite skincare brands. So thank you for that. But the issue really comes down to that all of you guys are fat phobic. And I'm sure most of you guys know that, but...
And I'm sure our friend knows it too. She's been doing this for how long? This is like literally her job. This is how she got into the industry as, quote, a model, right? She's been in social media and online for long enough. She knows. And yet she still made that series of decisions and then wonders why she got the response she did. It's clear our friend was seeking attention, but she got a little bit more than she bargained for this time, didn't she?
No one would be saying the things that you guys are so comfortable saying in my comments if it weren't for my size.
And how about those of us that feel that it's inappropriate regardless? It wasn't a lingerie ad. She wasn't modeling this bra. This was for skincare. And she now has the focus on what she wore because she made the wrong choices when styling herself.
That's really all it is. So while you guys work through whatever you need to work through, I'm going to stay moisturized and gorgeous and happy and fat.
And using probably 2 to 3 filters at a minimum. But she did get attention and she got those sweet, sweet views. So let's go ahead and check in with our friend Samyra and see what she's been up to.
Y'all, even the makeup brands aren't size inclusive. I was invited, keyword invited, by a makeup brand to attend their pop-up here in LA. And soon after my arrival, I very quickly made my departure because not only did they have makeup, but they also had clothing, but none of it came in plus sizes. So after I left, I sent the brand a DM expressing my disappointment that I was invited and they didn't have clothes for me. And to rectify the situation, they let me know that they had size inclusive merch that they would love to send me. And they directed me to their website to go check it out. Now I'm like, okay, size inclusive, bye-bye, because it's very rare for anyone to be size inclusive nowadays.
Okay, that was a lot of information. So let's try to break that all down. It sounds like our friend was invited to a brand event. And again, she said invited. And that would indicate to me that they were probably giving away some freebies to influencers. Because at least from my understanding with brand events anyhow. And she was upset that a makeup company didn't have clothing in her size.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy.
Okay. And I had to stop it there because she just made the comment that it's very rare for brands to be size inclusive nowadays. What the hell does that mean? Like, legitimately, do these influencers think about any other time period other than the one that they are living in right now? Because legitimately, there are so many more options for plus size clothing than there ever used to be when I was plus size in the 90s or early 2000s. So many more options. It's unreal. And she's going to say it's very rare for a brand to be size inclusive nowadays. Then how in the hell is she finding clothes? How is anyone within these movements finding clothing? Because that's the one question they can't ever seem to answer. They complain that they can't ever find what they're looking for, that's not enough. But yet, they clearly have clothes they're wearing. And I'm not trying to play semantics here, but she's literally trying to call out a makeup brand for not carrying clothing in her size. And it would be one thing if she wanted to call out the makeup brand for not carrying makeup in her shade range. But that's not what she's doing. She's complaining that they don't make clothing in her size. Where, I gotta be honest, I didn't even know they made clothes. So that's just news to me right off the get-go. I had no clue that they had anything other than makeup, quite frankly. And it seems to me, yet again, she was invited to an event where there'd be freebies, and she's upset she couldn't get something in her size for free. But let's see what else she has to say about this.
And now because the brand said it themselves, I was like, okay. Now I go to the website. Y'all, none of the merch comes in plus sizes. Not every item comes in all the sizes. It is just very not size inclusive, even though they told me it was.
Okay, but what does size inclusive mean to her? Because it's a very subjective term. There's no parameters to it. That term literally doesn't mean anything other than whatever meaning you ascribe to it yourself. Someone who might wear an extra small would think an extra large could be size inclusive. Someone who wears an extra large might think a 3X is size inclusive. Someone who wears a 3X might think a 6X is size inclusive. Someone who wears a 6X. Do you see how this goes? It's all about perspective. And without there actually being any parameters or anything to define this term other than whatever meaning they wish to ascribe to it, no wonder there was a miscommunication. Because this term, size inclusivity, doesn't mean jack squat in the actual fashion industry. And even within their own movement, size inclusivity only ever means clothing for plus size people. It only means fat clothes. Never means clothes for short people or tall people or people who are very thin. Never a mention of those sizes getting included, only plus sizes. So it's very clear when they're saying size inclusive, she means plus size. But if a brand hears size inclusive, they might think something wildly different. And again, because this term has no set definition, it's all going to be dependent on your own perspective and whatever meaning you wish to put upon that term. But let's see how our friend reacted to this.
Y'all keep purposefully skipping over the fact that Rare Beauty told me that their merch was size inclusive. In fact,
okay, and our friend is responding to a comment that reads, a makeup brand isn't expected to cater to every single size because they aren't a clothing brand. Their specialty is on beauty products, not apparel. Well, it would appear that I definitely agree with that commenter because that sounds very similar to what I just said, that they're a makeup brand. So I'm not really sure why our friend was expecting they were going to be all inclusive on sizing when they don't produce any clothing, but let's see how she's going to react to this.
in fact, I didn't even know they had merch until I was directed by the brand to go to their website to select sizes for them to send me to rectify my not being able to get any clothing at the pop-up that they themselves invited me to attend.
Okay, but that's not what she just said in her previous TikTok. She said she went to the pop-up, saw that they had merch, left it right away because they didn't have her size. And she emailed them to let them know that they didn't have her size. And then they emailed her back and said that they had merch on their website that was size inclusive. So her own story doesn't line up from one TikTok to the next. She said she didn't know they had merch until they directed her to their website. No, she went to the pop-up and found that they had merch there and didn't find her size and left. So there's already inconsistencies in her story.
And even if they hadn't communicated to me directly that their merch was size inclusive, well, their mission statement and marketing would have brought me to that conclusion anyway. So I can, should, and will expect that any apparel by the brand be size inclusive. And it's not up for debate.
It's not up for debate, or you don't wish to have that debate, Samyra, now that you're getting some blowback on that. So first she said that she didn't know that they had merch until she went to the pop-up. Then she said that she didn't know that they had merch until she went to the website. And now I'm curious, did she know that they had merch by reading the mission statement and the marketing? Because otherwise, why is merchandise being included in this? They are a makeup brand.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
They're legitimately a makeup brand. And again, our friend was invited to a free event where presumably she was going to be given free merchandise, and she is upset that she didn't get more free stuff. That to me just kind of sounds like the textbook definition of entitlement. And at a certain point, how much more merch does she need? How many more clothes does she need at a certain point? I mean, when she went on a tirade about Forever 21 over the summer, we got a tour of her closet. She's got a lot of clothes in there, and I'm genuinely curious how many clothes she thinks she actually needs. I'm starting to reach a point where I'm asking myself those questions. Every single time that I go do a race, I get a t-shirt of some sort, or a hoodie, or some sort of garment to walk away from that race with. And now that I've done 20 races, I've got a whole lot of t-shirts. And then I'm going to be doing more races this summer and getting more t-shirts. And if I keep doing this every year, I'm genuinely curious where I'm going to stack all these shirts after a certain point, quite frankly. I'm already kind of running through my mind about how I could take some t-shirts and turn them into quilts and stuff like that. So I'm genuinely curious, how much does our friend actually need this merchandise? Or is she just upset that she couldn't get something for free? Because if she doesn't have a need for it, why is she so upset about this? Or again, just like the Old Navy t-shirt, if this is that big of a deal, she could go have her own merch made. She could go support a small business. I mean, I know if I want something made, I've got plenty of friends I can call up to have a t-shirt made or a dress made. And then I can support my friends and their small business. So again, if it were that important to her, she's got other avenues. And if our friend is just so incredibly upset at the way everybody is handling business in the fashion industry at this point, or evidently the makeup industry, why doesn't she just do it herself? If it's so easy, if it's so simple, clearly she could do it, right? Clearly she could go and just show everyone how it's done. But it's never seemingly about that with our friend, and more so all of the ways the brands didn't specifically cater to her. And finally, let's go ahead and check in with our friend Jaebae, whom I'm sure couldn't have possibly done anything crazy in the last couple of weeks, right? Right? Oh, she's been arrested. And it appears, at least at time of filming, that she's still in jail. I mean, surely there's got to be a reasonable explanation for this, right? I don't know. Maybe she left us some clues on her social media. Now, there is copyrighted music playing over this. It's that Lady Gaga song, You Don't Know How It Feels Until It Happens to You. But obviously, can't play with copyright. Okay, and it appears that our friend was in the hospital at some point and clearly took the time to have somebody document the whole thing. So doesn't really give us any insight truly just from the video alone. So I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we can read the caption and that'll give us some more insight. Okay, it says, update. I am now safe. My perpetrator is going to be served. I have a chat with police department number. I am safe and his family, and what they've done to me will be exposed. And I'm not threatening anyone, but that's what God has told me. I thank you for all the help that you've given me, but I no longer need your help. God is in his hands, and you will know my story one day, but for now, I need to take a break. I'm a survivor of DV, and honestly, when you hear the story, it's going to bring tears to your eyes. Thank you for your support, but at this time, I have nothing else to say. Once I'm ready, I will share my story with you. Thank you for everything. I need help more than ever right now. I've been through some of the toughest moments of my life over the past year, physically, emotionally, and mentally, after a severe illness that nearly took my life and dealing with an abusive relationship. I'm finally starting to get the care and support I need, but I'm not out of the woods yet. And right now, I'm in a hotel trying to find a way out of this town and away from the danger I've been living in. I've had to make some hard decisions and reveal things that I've kept hidden for a long time. Some of what's been posted under my name wasn't even from me. I've been in a toxic, abusive situation for a while and just starting to find my way back to myself. I don't have family to turn to, and those that are supposed to be there for me are not. If you've ever been impacted by my content, or if you have the ability to help, I'm asking for your support now, whether that's financial assistance, a place to stay, or just helping me get connected with someone who can. My safety is the priority right now, and anything you can do will help me take the next step in rebuilding my life. I'll be honest with you, things are uncertain, but I'm fighting. I've been through a lot, and I still have a long road ahead, but I'm not giving up. If you can, please reach out. I'll get back to you when I can. Thank you for your support and understanding. So I have to be honest, after reading that caption, that didn't clarify anything. It's more confusing than ever now to me. She's safe, but also somehow in danger. She doesn't need your help, but also needs your help now more than ever. There's just a lot of confusing things going on there. And I do understand that when we're dealing with the subject matter of DV, there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of nuance to it. There's just a lot to it, quite frankly, and a lot that we don't know. So at this point, I'm going to just say everything that I'm going to be talking from here on out is either alleged or just speculation, just to make sure that we are all on the same page. What we do know is that she was in the hospital. She has since been arrested. It appears they are holding her on assault charges right now. And anything beyond that, it's going to be allegation or speculation. And as I'm sure many of you have already seen, our friend put out a series of stories on her Instagram right around the time all of this was occurring. So maybe this will give us a little more insight to this. So let's go ahead and take a look. And just for reference, I wasn't able to actually catch these clips when they were up on her story because you have, I believe it's 24 hours on your story before it disappears. So I did not catch them in real time. I actually did get these clips from Obese to Beast video that he did on Jaebae, which I will go ahead and link down below. And if you'd like to check that out, obviously, please do so. But let's go ahead and take a look at these clips and see what Jaebae was saying on her Instagram.
I did not want to have to do this. I've tried to figure out what I was meant to do. And today something happened that I cannot allow to happen to anybody else. You know my abuser. I don't know what's going to happen from here, but the police are on their way. They're 15 minutes out. I will let you know when I can what happens, okay? But I need you guys to know I'm safe. And there's lots of things you will learn. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for giving me the courage and the strength to do this. But most of all, I have to thank God because I would not be alive had today not played out the way it did. You will understand one day, I promise. But for now, I'm going to be gone, and I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. But please know that I am safe.
Okay, gotta admit, that sounds very cryptic. And I gotta be honest, anytime I see people filming themselves crying like that in a situation that clearly is not great, I don't know, it gives me secondhand embarrassment. It really just does. I'm not really sure what she thinks she's going to accomplish by putting this up on social media. I'm genuinely curious. I mean, if she's saying that she needs help, I understand wanting to try to turn to social media, especially if you don't feel like you have anybody in your life. But when you put it out publicly on social media, you don't know who's going to see it. And especially if she's dealing with a DV situation, you have no idea if somebody who might see it could turn around and get information back to the people you don't want to see it. So my suggestion definitely would be to our friend here to keep this offline. And if you have to do it online, just, keep it private. But let's see if she clarifies any of this.
I'm here. I'm alive. I have a case number now. I'm working on filing a protective order. I'm not getting a whole lot of help. I'm all by myself because I'm stranded. I see that the perpetrator that I will not name here just for legal purposes and safety purposes is now falsely spreading information. I'm going to allow the police to handle it. There's a lot, and I really didn't want it to be this way, but I don't know what else to do.
Okay, and it does seem to be the general consensus, because she did just say in the previous story she had up that we know the perpetrator, so it's led many of us to speculate if the perpetrator she might be alluding to was her now ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance, the individual who did appear in a number of TikToks alongside of her. Because if you go to his social media, he has put out this statement. Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to address something personal. As some of you may already know, Jalen and I have recently gone our separate ways. Breakups are never easy, and this has been an especially difficult time for me. Despite everything that has happened between us, I genuinely wish her the best moving forward. I know that in situations like this, there are always different perspectives. She has her story, and I have mine. I'm not here to argue or get into details, but I want to say thank you to those who have supported me during this time. It truly means a lot. If anyone has any questions or wants to check in, feel free to reach out. Again, I appreciate all the kindness and understanding. So with that statement, it has definitely led a number of us to speculate that that might be who she is alluding to in these videos. So let's see if maybe she gives us any more information.
Everyone, I'm safe. I hope I'm getting a protective order as soon as possible. Sorry. I'm safe for now. I'm trying to keep you guys updated. I'm trying to cover my ass because I literally don't know what I'm doing. I've never been in this situation. And
okay, she's trying to cover her ass. Then I would suggest our friend here takes the advice of literally any lawyer I have ever heard in any situation ever, and that is keep your mouth shut. Literally don't talk to anyone except your lawyer about what is currently going on. So if she really is trying to cover her ass, that would be the best advice I could ever give our friend right there.
Things you guys are about to find out are things I wanted to take to the grave, but you know, that was also someone else's plan. And his family is now threatening me. I have all the documentation. I promise you guys will see everything. All right, well, at this point, everything's on. It's all reported. I don't know what happens from here, but I can tell you that the police department in Kennewick, they got it all on body cam. I will be requesting that footage. It's very bad, and I didn't want to have to post it. I never wanted to have to do this, but when my life was actually threatened, and when you hear the story, you will understand why.
Hear the story? Okay. I have to be 100% honest when I tell you this. When I first heard that this situation was going on with our friend here, and I found out that DV may or may not be involved in this, my first thought is the boy who cried wolf. And I hate to say that. I really, truly do, because I believe in situations like this that victims really do need a lot of understanding and support. Truly, they do. But I also know that our friend has not been the most reliable narrator in her own life. She has been in controversy after controversy for stretching the truth or just making stories up out of whole cloth to try to get attention to her cause or petition or GoFundMe or whatever's going on. So it's very difficult for me to hear all of this and just take it at face value and believe it at face value. Because, again, she has not been the most reliable narrator in her own life. And again, I understand that in cases of DV, that complicates those situations as well. So I really am trying to keep an open mind, but that was my initial gut reaction when I heard about this. She has cried so many times about all the ways other people have mistreated her or the ways that she is always a victim. And I'm genuinely curious what really has occurred. If that body cam footage is actually in existence somewhere. And if so, if it will ever be released, and we might actually get some clarity on this. But let's see what else she has to say.
It is by the grace of God that I am alive. I've been trying to remain steadfast in this and strong, and I am. I'm very firm in what I believe. I know what happened to me. I have all of it documented. The police department didn't help. I've called every resource they have. They've been very aggressive towards me. You know how the police are towards African-American people like myself. I'm not going to tag them. They're telling me I can't get a protective order till tomorrow. I have to get to the court.
African-American woman like herself. I mean, no lie, this is so entertaining. I did go get some popcorn. I can't even lie. But, really? How do I say this as tactfully as possible? If she is an African-American woman, she is incredibly white passing, and I don't think anybody's going to look at her and go, wow, that's a black woman. I'm not discounting whether or not she has that in her background, but just looking at her, is anyone going to truly think that about her? And isn't that the first time we've heard of that, truthfully? Because I got to be honest, of all of the things that she has said over the years about the ways that she is mistreated because she is fat or disabled or because of this or because of that, I am genuinely surprised that she wouldn't have brought that up previously. Especially since fat acceptance and body positivity love to tell everyone that it was created by or for queer fat women of color. So if she's an African American woman, why didn't she lean into that with the whole body positivity thing? I'm just genuinely curious because, again, these things just don't add up. It's not a question of whether or not she is. It's more the idea that this is the first time any of us are hearing this. I'm genuinely surprised she never brought this up before.
But mind you, I've been stranded because perpetrator got our car repoed. I've been living it. Yeah, there's a lot that's going to come out. I guess if his family wants to threaten me, then I have to expose them. And they've been abusive and threatening. And there's proof of it dating back to, sadly, I've had to include every single member of his family that has done anything illegal. I'm not going to speak on that because I'm scared. But if you're in Kennewick, Washington...
She is speaking on it, though. She's just not giving us all the details. I've got my popcorn ready. I was ready for all the details, man.
Because at this point, I don't really know how else to get safety. The police are definitely failing me. I've talked to a sergeant. I've talked to multiple officers. Everything I've been asked to do, they have done nothing. And they've questioned me at every turn. They want me to stay in town and testify, but they don't. He said, quote unquote, the police is not a taxi service. So although you're stranded, you'll have to figure out how to get to the courthouse on your own.
Yeah, they're not. They're not a taxi service. And I have to be honest, okay? I have to be honest. I've gotten a couple of rides over the years from some incredibly kind police officers. Back when I was working really crazy hours at McDonald's and I was walking to and from my job. So I might be walking home at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And especially like there's this one section by my house where there's no sidewalks. There's very few street lights. It's crazy. People drag race through there. It's not a good place to walk through for safety reasons, right? And I've actually gotten rides home before in the past. So I do think that's very funny because I actually have gotten rides from the cop, but I totally understand that that is not their job. It just so happened to be that was a very nice exception that they made for me a few times. And again, a few times, not every time they saw me walking, just occasionally. But yeah, this is the reality of things. And this isn't just something she's going through. Anybody who needs to get to court or to file a protection order or anything of that nature, they're going to need to figure out their own transportation. Either get an Uber or a Lyft, use public transportation, walk, call for a ride. I mean, like legitimately, it's not always ideal. I understand that. But they're right. They're not a taxi service. And besides, having gotten a couple of rides home, not the best accommodations for a taxi service. I'll just say that.
I didn't record that, but it should be recorded. My lawyer, I'm sure, will get it all taken care of. But because it's Sunday, you know how that goes. If I am not alive tomorrow, everything is in my phone. I'm sorry to have to traumatize you this way. I wish it wasn't this way. I really do. I will explain everything. There will be a legal proceeding. They want me to testify. They've already made it very clear where they stand and on what I've told them. I'm sorry, everyone. And I feel bad for him because I'm brainwashed because of him.
Wow. That's a lot of information, but not really actual information, just a lot of cryptic information, I guess. But our friend's not done yet. Let's see what else she has to say.
Look, I look a little bit rough, okay? I get it. But you guys, you can probably understand, right? And once you hear what happened, oh my gosh. But now that the truth is out to the police, I'm not saying anything. I'm going to let the police and the universe handle whatever it is they need to handle. This family knows what they did to me.
She probably should have taken her own advice right there and just done that from the very beginning and kept this off of social media.
And now the whole world will know what they did to me. I'm protected, and I need you all to know that I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm sound. And whatever happened in this room today, I will share with you one day. But just know that this is not a fight I'm fighting alone. And just know that I'm okay. And I'm more free and more safe than I have ever been. And you will come to know that. I will share my testimony with you. You will know that. And I will fight for every single one of you. And every single one of you that's helped me, you will be helped tenfold.
Okay, I think our friend in this situation needs to just focus on getting through this situation instead of worrying about, I'm going to go fight for everybody else. Like, this is all over the place. She's safe, but she's not safe. She's all alone or she's not alone. Like, and she keeps contradicting herself within the same video, let alone from one to the next. So maybe she should have taken her own advice from the very beginning and just, again, kept this to herself until this situation was resolved.
Actions don't have to... You can watch my actions. My words mean nothing. But you just pay attention, okay? Man, this stuff really comes in waves. It really does. And so I'm just going to be honest, since I've had already called the police. And I mean, everything's out. What's been said has been said. I'm waiting on a call back from the non-duty or an off-duty officer. I'm so sorry. I finally changed my clothes. I don't feel safe enough to take a shower. Pretty scared. I kind of wish someone could come here and be with me. There's literally multiple beds. I mean, if someone could come here and take myself somewhere else, that'd be great. Unfortunately, the GoFundMe money.
Okay. Again, the contradiction. She's safe, but she's not safe. She can't shower because she doesn't feel safe. Like, she's fine, but she's not fine. She has people, but she wishes somebody would come be there because she's got multiple beds. Like, this is so incredibly confusing. And I have to be honest. Like, I know I am no mental health professional by any stretch of the imagination, but this really is starting to resemble everything I have ever known about a manic episode. And the thing about manic episodes is people may have difficulty with reality while they're going through that manic episode. Again, not a mental health professional, but at the very least, I feel comfortable saying I think she's got some serious mental health issues going on, and I hope she is getting that addressed at some point.
For some reason, I don't know. I don't want to say anything allegedly, but things are odd on my end, to say the least. And yeah, I don't want to be at this hotel anymore. I do not feel safe. I just called them non-emergency. I almost just called 911 again, and just strange things happening. Yeah, KPD is gonna have a lot of explaining to do. Let's just say that.
Yeah, our friend sounds very paranoid here. And again, if this is an alleged DV situation, I understand that there's a lot of factors in play here. I really, truly do. I'm really just having a difficult time believing this as presented. And our friend previously mentioned that the perpetrator's family was also threatening her as well, but then she posted this to her story. And I must admit, I have heard conflicting reports over who may have actually written this. I have heard it may have been her boyfriend's mother-in-law or sister-in-law, but it does appear that it is a member of her boyfriend's family. And again, this is all alleged, so let's just go ahead and read what this message says. I'm sorry you're going through a breakup. Let me set some things straight. Blank and I welcome you into our family. Gave you a home to live in, even though it was very difficult for us. Our family has given you food and money on many occasions. You have never been abused. Blank worked hard to support you through your illnesses with no expectations in return. He loved you. Breakups are hard on both parties, but to put the blame all on one side and take no responsibility is not the way adults behave. Please take care and good luck with everything. And despite the fact that that was a private message sent to our friend, she posted that publicly on her story, so she clearly wanted us to have this tidbit of information. And I have to say, this tidbit of information really helped illuminate some things for me. And again, we don't know what happened. I don't know if we ever will. This is speculation and some allegations that have been made, but I have to admit, this scenario is reminding me so much of some things that my family went through not that long ago. So this was about 7 or 8 years ago. My husband and I had a family member approach us and let us know that they were in a really bad spot. They didn't have a place to stay. They didn't really have a job or any money to take care of themselves. They claimed they had been living on the street. And to top it all off, they claimed they had cancer. And not just any cancer, but terminal pancreatic cancer that gave them about 6 months or so to live. And even though it was a tremendous hardship and inconvenience for us to take this individual in, I mean, it's family and we don't want them to be living on the street. I mean, right? So we did what we thought was the compassionate thing to do, and we offered him a place to stay. Unfortunately, it became very clear to me not long after he arrived that there were a lot of inconsistencies to his story, and a lot of the things that he was telling us just weren't adding up. Whether it was about his situation prior to moving in with us, whether it was about his diagnosis and his health, whether it was about just literally anything. There were so many inconsistencies that I always felt I was getting bullshitted. Always. And over the course of the next several months, it became crystal clear that at the very least he lied about the severity of his illness. And my husband and I tried everything we could think of to help him. We literally supported him financially. provided food and whatever else he needed while he lived here, didn't charge him rent. He had no job. We offered to take him to doctor's appointments. We tried to get him into free clinics. We tried to get him in with social workers so he could get his case managed. Whatever resources he needed, we were trying to get him access to all of those resources. And every step of the way, he refused. Every single step of the way. He would not go to the free clinic. He wouldn't go to the emergency room when he was sick. He wouldn't go try to make an appointment with a doctor and explain his situation. He didn't even try to get a caseworker to get qualified for Medicaid, which I am certain he would have qualified for at the time since he was sleeping on our floor and had no job. Every opportunity we presented to him to better his situation or just improve his life in any fashion, he not only refused, he also caused a lot of friction and fights and just so many problems in the 3 years or so that he ended up being here. And that whole time we felt we were trying to do the compassionate thing by taking care of family and doing for others what we would want done for us, right? But I have to be honest, after 3 years of that, we just felt like suckers. That we were funding a lifestyle for him at our detriment, that we were never going to get things fixed around the house or be able to take the kids places or hell, just replace clothes as we needed to because now we had somebody else in the house that we were trying to take care of, especially somebody else who could have gone and gotten a job to try to contribute. And after 3 years of this, we finally had enough. It was obviously clear that he wasn't sick. He lied about having cancer. He had no intention of ever getting a job. And without us actually talking to him and trying to light a fire under his ass, he was never going to leave my house. Ever. He just thought this was now his spot. So my husband and I had a long talk and we definitely agreed that it was time for him to go. And so we sat down and had a conversation with him. We did not put any time frame on it. We didn't even tell him like, hey, you should think about doing it now. It was, you should start thinking about getting your own place. And I remember actually that being the exact wording because I gotta be honest, I was a little frustrated my husband didn't use a little more forceful wording because I was just fed up and done at that point. So we were trying again to be compassionate, to try to have empathy, to try to treat people the way we wanted to be treated, right? And I thought the conversation went, as well as it could for that type of conversation. Seemed that we came to an understanding and he left the house and was going out for the evening and seemed to be in good spirits. Well, that night, he didn't bother coming home. And we assumed he must have met up with some friends or gone out to a bar or who knew what he was doing at that point, but we were just kind of grateful that we had a peaceful, quiet night. So my husband and I went to bed fairly early. And next thing I know, it's like 2, maybe 2:30 in the morning, and I am hearing so much pounding coming from my front door. Now, mind you, we had rearranged so much of our lives at this point to accommodate having him in our house. So we were sleeping on the couch and heard this right away, and I look out my front window, and what do I find? Half a dozen cop cars sitting out in front of my house, police officer pounding on my front door, and I'm clueless as to what on earth is going on. So my husband and I throw ourselves together, go running outside and ask them what's going on. And immediately they separate us and start questioning us, which, I have to be honest, I haven't really been in these situations before that, but I've watched enough true crime and like Law and Order and stuff like that to know that's never a good situation when that's happening because they're trying to get us to like trip up and catch us in a lie or something. And next thing I know, there's a whole bunch of accusations being levied against us from that individual that we had kicked out. Thankfully, it only took about 5, maybe 10 minutes before the cops realized exactly what was going on and our stories corroborated everything. And quite frankly, if you're going to lie, make it a believable lie. Like, that was the easiest thing in the entire world. Like, that couldn't have ever happened because X, Y, and Z. And that was the end of that. So I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, I guess I'm glad he was really dumb about it. So once that was all handled, we were able to kind of calm down and get back inside and eventually head back to bed. And I assumed that was it. That was over. That was the last hurrah. Nope, that was not, unfortunately. because that motherfucker also called Children's Services, made a whole bunch of false accusations about us to them. And now they had to do their own investigation independent of the police that had just been out the night before. And I gotta say, that sent my world into upheaval for the next couple of weeks. It was awful. I never want to go through anything like that ever again. And I seriously cannot believe that that is how this individual reacted. We gave him room and board for years. And then he repays us by trying to have our children taken and trying to have us thrown in jail. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened in Jaebae's situation, but knowing that that was my experience, reading this message, I resonated with that more than just about anything else I heard her say in any of those videos. I'm really trying to keep an open mind on this because, again, I know DV can complicate every situation. And I'm trying to hold space for the small percentage that she is telling the truth. But unfortunately, our friend has not been a reliable narrator in her own life up to this point, and numerous times. So I am genuinely curious what actually happened and if we will ever get the full story on this. But I definitely don't think that I believe the story that we're getting from our friend. So there we have it. I take a couple of weeks off and we've got fat acceptance crashing out left and right. We've got Tess Holiday upset that she went attention seeking and got the attention she wasn't seeking, I guess. Then we've got Samyra upset that a makeup brand didn't make clothing in her size. And then we've got this whole Jaebae situation. So let me know down below in the comments, did any of you have this on your bingo card for 2025? Because I know I sure as hell didn't. Also, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this? Any of these situations? I'm genuinely curious and I love reading all of your responses. That is where we will leave things today. I thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye! I'm not even joking. She heard me doing my outro and she came running to the doorway and was waiting for me right there because she knows. Hi, baby. Look at you, sweetheart. Pokey had an adventure today. I went out this morning to go grab the mail. And I'm coming in the back door and I hear a ruckus going on and I'm thinking, oh, maybe the kids got up and were scrounging for a snack or something. I open up the back door, no kids, but mysteriously we've got mittens and winter hats all over the ground. And then I see scarves trailing off into the living room. And next thing I know, this poor kitten had a tote bag stuck around her stomach and was running all over the house and wouldn't let me get it off for like 10 minutes. It was pure pandemonium. I loved it. Yeah, did you love it, babe? Yeah, you didn't seem to, but you at least let me help you in the end, huh, baby? Well, normally she climbs up my shoulder and then she jumps down and then I say bye, but I don't think she's moving tonight, so